And just saying that you have to do something is not enough. Just because the news is pushing these videos at you doesn't mean you got to do something.
Fox News is under fire for callous remarks made by its hosts while its colleagues are in the line of fire. Welcome into TYT's Overruled. I am your host, Adrienne Lawrence. Fox News cameraman Pierre Zakrzewski was killed by a blast outside of Kyiv while covering Russia's war on Ukraine. The network's CEO, Suzanne Scott, announced the tragic news of the 55-year-old journalist's death when his vehicle was struck by incoming fire. Interestingly enough, Fox's CEO failed to acknowledge that Zakrzewski wasn't alone. His producer, Alexandra Kovesnaya, was also killed in the attack. And Fox correspondent Benjamin Hall was badly injured too. Now, this comes just days after Hall called out his colleagues at Fox for downplaying the war and their callous response to Ukraine. Here's what went down. Fox News host Greg Gutfeld suggested on air that the media was airing emotionally manipulative footage of Ukraine so to advance a narrative.
I sense, Greg, in you a conflict that you don't know, you're not convinced with the prevailing narrative.
That's a pretty good assessment. I can feel the galvanizing force of these stories that kind of have sped up and are accumulating to create a narrative, and they only go in one direction. And I understand why they only go in one direction, because it's the invaded who experience the atrocity, right? And that's all we're going to see. However, I can't help but feel that this is a lot like other stories that we've gone through in the digital age, in which an image is taken and then played over and over and over again to create some kind of emotional response out of you, because that makes a profit for news companies, right?
And of course, Gutfeld had to try to gray area his implicit pro-Putin argument.
There is this galvanizing kind of narrative that is there to create a reaction. And if somebody like me says, hold on a second, and you try to counter the drumbeat, you're seen as an inconsiderate, cold-hearted pussy. But if you amplify this story, if you amplify that story, why can't you be called pro-war? If you want to push this stuff, why can't I call you pro-war? We're stuck in the prison of two ideas right now, where you're either got to be one way or you got to be the other. It's not as clear as that. It's somewhere in the middle.
Well, the moment Hall got on air, he had to respond to Gutfeld's remarks.
Benjamin Hall is live in Kyiv with more on this.
Yeah, good evening, Judge. And speaking as someone on the ground, I want to say that this is not the media trying to drum up some emotional response. This is absolutely what's happening. From the cities of Kharkiv to Mariupol to Chernihiv, they are being absolutely flattened. And from all corners of this country, people are fleeing for safety. 2 million of them, as you say, so far have gone. And in the city of Mariupol, people are drinking water from puddles because the Russian forces haven't allowed them to get out. When they have tried to get out, they are shelled, those routes are mined, the Red Cross buses have been unable to get in. It is an absolute catastrophe, and the people caught in the middle are the ones who are really suffering.
Of course, from his cushy seat in an air-conditioned studio, Gutfeld felt that he needed to respond to Hall's display of facts.
I don't know, Dana, what do you think? Should I address Benjamin Hall's cheap attack on me? Or should I be a good coworker and let it slide? As I said before when this started, we want the quickest end possible. My concern has always been when a narrative creates a story that bolsters one side that is out of its element, will you create more suffering?
As mentioned, just days after this verbal attack, Hall was actually attacked by gunfire and lost 2 of his colleagues and more. And, you know, you'd want to hope that Gutfeld got it after seeing this, but it's unlikely that he does, because all Fox News does is whine about perceived oppression, not actually experience it. But it has a number of its colleagues out there on the lines trying to provide accurate and complete coverage. So I definitely do wish them the best, and I do hope that their colleagues in the studio get it. So what do you think? Do you think Fox is going to change its tune as far as it concerns the war in Ukraine? Or do you think it's going to be more pro-Putin propaganda narratives? You let me know in the comments below, hit the like and follow button, and thanks for watching.